Hello and welcome to another weekly live stream where we poke at Mythruna related things and try to make some progress. Tonight we're going to be working on sort of refactoring the path stuff we've been doing to work with different mob types, which is kind of like the last thing before I start writing real code and incorporating it into the game. Not the very last thing, but one of the last things. It's like the next critical step, so we'll go ahead and get started. So as usual, in the upper left corner is the link where you could download the latest version and sign up for the Discord, etc. And then scrolling in the lower left is the list of patrons, the people who help me keep the lights on, keep the servers running. If you would like to join, you can hit my Patreon link. It's in the doobly-doo down in the bottom of the video here. All right. So let's make sure our whiteboard is working. We're probably going to want to use it. Yeah, so I did figure out with the ramp stuff from last time that I can do it with one vector. I just needed to find the slope vector, and it's really just an inverse of this. I don't want to get into it, but I haven't fixed it yet, but I know how to fix it. Because as it is, as the thing gets steeper, I think our up force gets shallower or something. There's something that's in there that's backwards, but it still works okay for now, so we'll just leave it. But I've been messing with things. I did this just now, and I started this. Oh yeah, so now my nose is itching. Let's get so we're going to be working in the Mythruna side this time. So now we're going to be like in Mythruna specific land because that's the only place where I have multiple characters to test with. And I did discover playing around with this that there's actually a bug in the bird rig, which is probably why when it's walking around on the ground, I think I knew this already. There's something wrong with the bird rig, and it's also scaled too big. And since I know that scaling rigs doesn't work right now, I need to go into Blender and sort of reduce the size just to be like a natural bird size, and then if I want bigger birds I can eventually fix scaling. So if you create the bird, you'll see it immediately starts hopping forward. Oh, now we've got the so recenter camera. We can actually center the camera on the we had an exception thrown back there somewhere. Ooh. Oh, yeah. So there's something yeah, that's the normal one. So we see he's slowly creeping forward, and his bounding shape is super far forward. If we turn on body debug, I think that yeah, there's something going on with this model. I think that it needs a root bone or a root blob a little closer so that it sits upright. I think its center of gravity is over its feet. At any rate, we won't be playing with the birds today, unfortunately, because the birds are half high. Yeah, I hope it's interesting. Actually, now that this is actually a bug too, it's not clearing the thing, but I think it will when I go and reset one of these. I think when it reloads, it'll clear out all those. Yeah. So right now we're in Mythruna land. So I think what we're going to do is play with the dog, because the dog has an interesting shape that clearly does not fit this bounding shape, and it's also way not in the right place. So this will act like a pretty good difference. That door is in the wrong place. I think that oh yeah, so if I could I made these ramps over here to kind of play with the ramps some more, and so we have Mythruna girl in here somewhere. Yeah, so we can create the standard Mythruna girl. We can have her try to arrive up at the top of this hill. Oh, wrong mob. Yeah, so now yeah, that's something I fixed. So yeah, let's close the doggy. If we ever try to arrive up the hill, can't talk. Let's center the camera around her. So if we ever try to arrive up the hill, she slips and slides, and there's all kinds of issues with her walking at an angle up the hill, but this is what I was thinking. Um, this would show a good example of what I was talking about, where when you're heading straight up the hill, your walk vector should fall, like if you're looking at the side here, your walk vector should fall right along here, and so the up force you need is pretty direct. But when you're moving at an angle, your up vector is much less because the vector is shallower. And it's shallow in not the correct way at the moment. Like before she would make it up. So there may be something wrong with this particular rig in Mythruna, but if I warp her here and then arrive up here, or maybe she made it up and she was just giving up. Like she should make it up the shallow slope. She does pretty good, and she mostly walks in a straight line. The other thing is when she's walking up these hills, yeah, she's constantly getting, especially the steeper hill, she constantly gets, side collisions that tell her she should turn away from it, which is why she kind of walked in a curve there. All right, so we'll go ahead and delete her for now. But that's the yeah, okay, so I need to make sure to clean out their debug shapes when I do that. So if we open the doggy again and recenter on the dog, so clearly that's not a good shape for the dog. So I have to think of a good shape, probably something short and flat, probably with smaller blocks, maybe half this size. I think actually the dog will fit through these narrow gaps much easier than Mythruna Girl would. Actually, the way this looks, it's like, how would Mythruna Girl ever fit through there? That's really thin, but we can actually walk there. So like if I arrive the dog here, it should be able to make it back, yeah. So, oh, holy crap. Whee! Yeah, so there's something to do with the, yeah, because the collision shape is detecting all kinds of climbing behavior, but clearly it can make it through. So there's a bunch of things I have to work on that are mob type specific. Yeah, so the fact that it does this little pirouette when we set it down sometimes. I love this center camera button. I just added it and I'm already used to it. Yeah, so let's keep track of some of the things. I did start to take notes, but I already realized I forgot some things. Let's see, this will be in the physics playground stuff. So body things we need. Okay. Let's go to my document where I track all the things. Mob specific config. Yeah, things we need to keep track of. Things we need to keep up to date about a flatland mob. Yeah, so this was just me keeping track of the things I'm calculating all the time that I need to just keep track of because we don't need to worry about that today, but that's to deal with slopes. So yeah, path quantization. Like I don't remember when we were dividing up the world in little blocks for the the path to stuff where we're stepping. How we divided it into quarters for a human-sized character, but a little bird would need a much smaller version. For the human-sized characters to get up ramps and stuff, we made sure that the vertical slicing was like super fine so that it could find all the little slices up the ramp. For a bird, it wouldn't need that. For things that can climb vertical surfaces, it wouldn't need that. So that's another mob-specific thing, which is like, how do we divide the world up? The shape, that's this guy right here, this path. Well, that's these guys, right? Right now they're just a vertical block. They're like this center one without the sides. And so that's got to change. For the dog, they're way too big. Like he can't walk through low doors. I should probably make a low door for him to walk through. We'll do that in a second. And then the movement probe shape, which is what we see here, that's this guy, the thing that makes sure that he doesn't hit walls and stuff. And the step probe shape, yeah. So like what they use to determine whether they can step up or not. A short little character like a Gaithin probably would have to fly to go up a 1 meter block, or even a half-meter block. He can't just step up like a person can. So that's all specific. Let me go ahead and finish this out so that I want to see if he can actually do it. I guess it's a she, technically. Yeah, okay, so she can walk the path. That's kind of cool. Twink, 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 twink. Yeah. It's been almost a year since my doggy died. Okay, so I'm going to kill this, and I'm going to put like a little... I'll put some doorways so that the... so that the mobs can... so that the short mobs can get through. They can take different paths. Super duper duper duper. Everything's so slow when you're in a hurry. Yeah, last weekend I didn't work much on Mythruna. Actually, one of my open source packages, I'm trying to get them released, and so yeah, so we'll create a little opening here, and maybe a little opening here. Little back doors for the short mobs to take shortcuts. Yeah, so maybe we'll make a little... Actually, I kind of want to see if they can navigate this, so I don't want to create a shortcut for them. Yeah, so like if that mob was here and wanted to go over here, it wouldn't have to go around this way. It could go through these little shortcuts. Yeah, that should be enough to test. Maybe another one here. Okay. Save it. I don't want to spend too much time on that. One of these things will copy that over. Yep. Anyway, well, there was one of those early live streams where we were refactoring something in my UI toolkit called Lemur to deal with like pluggable text components. I never did go back and finish that, so I finally went back and finished that last weekend and fixed and applied it a bunch of other patches that people had submitted over the years, because it's been 3 or 4 years since I cut a release, and I'm trying to get better about that. So that's what I did last weekend. And house stuff, because it's spring, and so a bunch of stuff happens around here. Try to get the house cleaned up a little bit. We don't do a summer party anymore, but so let's see if I place the doggy in here. If he will fit. Oh, he won't try to go through because his bounding shape is wrong. So that's one of the things we're fixing, right? So we've got some good, a good place to start here, because if like right now I did an arrive to here, he's not going to be able to make it through because his bounding shape is going to say he can't get. Oh, he did. Oh, because the probe is just a influence. Would he try to go around if I did this? Yeah, so he's going to eventually have problems. I think probably because it's trailing, it lets him get through. Oh no, see, that's not right at all. Why are you climbing up? So something's wrong with the step up logic. There's no way at all he should be able to step up. So let's see if we can force that to happen. Let's go over here and pause the simulation. I kind of want to check out the bug while I still got it hot and handy here. Could ultimately have to do with the collision shape itself, so I don't want to spend too much time on this. Yeah, so it starts to pop up because it's intersecting with this block, and for some reason it's getting, yes, it's already climbing when it should not be. So, like, how'd you get up there, little dude? Okay, so it's not climbing anymore. So there's something to do with the wall collisions that's wrong. Let's see if she'll do it again here. Oh, I need to go back in. Okay. I like being able to see through the walls like this. It's kind of fun. Okay, she's going to try to go right through. Okay, so she's going to hit the... Hello, doggy. Yeah, what's her debug shape look like? Okay. Alright, okay, so clearly we won't be able to really debug the dog until we give it a proper body shape. This is screwing all kinds of things up, really. So let me put her up somewhere that's easier to see. Center the camera. Warp. Make her like a little less skittish. Okay. So we've got her nice and centered on this. I love that center camera button. It ticks me off that it took me so long to add it. Alright, so we've got her up on a pedestal where she belongs. Hello, doggy. Alright. So, yeah. Oh, the other thing is, usually Wednesday night was one of my big development nights because nobody has music lessons that night, and I usually don't have like a meeting the next day or anything to prep for, and it's the middle of the week. But I've been going to this open mic night to watch friends and just generally just hang out and do music stuff, and I haven't performed yet, but I have been going every Wednesday to this one of this local open mic nights, and it's been fun last 3 weeks. Alright, so we want to change her bounding shape, but we want to do it in a way, in fact, let's pop up a Mythruna girl too. Also, not two, like it gets confusing because there is actually a... Okay, so we've got the two of them, and we can make sure that hers stays the same and hers, the doggo's, gets affected. And so we want to kind of create these the ability to have character specific stuff to be in the first place, to make sure that, you know, Mythruna girl keeps her shape and the dog has its own shape. So what do we want to do for that? I think we'll need a new class, kind of like body state. We'll call it body config. And it will have these things. But I kind of... I want to think about this because we do a bunch of math. Yeah. I actually think yeah. So we kind of want two vectors, one that takes us to and from, and we created that down here, I think. In the my neck has started to hurt. Hey Peter, how's it going? Got some of the OGs on tonight. Hope you guys are having a good week. I know the world's a bit chaotic at the moment. Let's see. What am I looking for? I'm looking for where probe decides to put its probe shape. And does it calculate it every time? Query contacts, position. There is... No, I think it's all where we create the shape. Sorry, my yeah, my neck is kind of hurting. Oh no, it's in the path stuff. It's from when we're walking the path actions. Yeah, that's related to the path stuff. Because remember, we divide the world up into, yeah, these path to world scale, world to path scale. So this is something that we'll want that's going to be body specific. And so body config, what we will want is we will want like Vec3i path spacing. I'm trying to make it more Java-like so that it'll drop right into the real code. And so for the path spacing, world to path scale, let me just steal this stuff for a second so I don't have to flip back and forth all the time. Okay, so this, I mean, this has nothing to do with the blocks themselves, but yeah, so path spacing before world to path scale, world to path scale. Yeah, so this is essentially path spacing to Vec3D. And then this is, oh, yeah, it can be a little, that can be a scary roller coaster though. Whew, I think we'll be feeling the aftermath of this particular upheaval for quite a while. Certainly a lot of brain drain. Can I do a divide local or divide? Divide. I can do divide local. Is there a regular divide? And divide by a vector. Cool. Thanks, past me. Divide world to path scale. So we just keep this around so that we have it. Alright, so that's that. We will want the probe shape, which we can just use this method to create one. Well, we'll create them in different ways, but this is ultimately what we want, is the M block shape. We don't care about all the other stuff, I think. Probe shape. Let's go ahead and have a name so that we can identify these more easily. It's a good, it's a little wasteful, but it can be good if you've got a name. When you're debugging stuff, you can easily print out which one it is. Okay. And so what we want to do is create a mapping of shape names to body types so that we can, so basically body config types. So first we'll have a map, just call it body types, and body types dot put human female, and we'll create her body config. Yeah. Okay, new body config, human female, new vec3i, 256 2, and then let's rename this. We'll call it create. We'll just call it create probe shape blocks for now. Why name? Okay, that's fine. I think I can just move this to another line. Create probe shape blocks, and I think we can't actually fill this. I think we have to do this in an initializer. Just like this. Body, yeah. So body configs. Just make sure that we can. So when we refresh the script, it'll clear it out and do it again. Body types clear. This is specific to the fact that we're running in a live environment. Okay, so we can do this, in which we're going to pass all the same things here, although I think I will use a different name. I'm going to give myself a little bit more indent here. We will move these up so that we can go like this. Oh yeah, we're passing mass. Okay. Started doing that these days. Okay, so path probe shape scale. That's all fine, and then instead we'll call this human female probe to keep track of it. I don't think we've broken anything, so I think we can save the script and okay, we'll get compile errors. That's cool. That's cool. I'm okay. Don't bother me none. I get compile errors all the time. What's it complaining about? Expecting blank, but found blank. Oh, yeah, I don't want to put that there because we're still inside the same statement. Oh, it didn't like that. No such property. XZ world to path scale. Line 53. Oh. Oh, yeah. Duh. Doink. Cut and paste error. Okay. So we've got one thing set up. We will also create a body type mapping. And so this is where we'll map the different types of models to a specific body config. So I'm going to look in here. I think that I can actually get this from the center camera. It will log. No. I thought one of these logged the. Oh, it's the warp. It logs. Shape. There we go. So we'll set body type mapping equal to dog. Let's get rid of this extra equals that we got. So we want one for now in real code I would make these constants, or we'll load them from a config or something. Actually, it could be groovy like this that sets them up in a. Okay, and so then we'll want to warp her to here, so we can get hers as well. There it is. Mythruna girl rig. The reason I'm using Mythruna girl is because she's got the checkered bodysuit, and the other ones have these weird. The default clothing, but texture coordinates have been flipped upside down, so like the face is metal, and I don't like it. Okay, so this is good. We've got the mappings, and now we need to start wiring them up to be used. Oh, I need to, it actually doesn't matter much because these maps are going to be refilled by their keys each time, these hash maps. And we're going to want to create, let's rename this, create human shape blocks, human probe. Okay, and let's change this to human probe shape. Nope, skip. change. Skip, change. Skip, skip, skip. Oops, I do want to change that one actually. Oh no, that's, yes, I do. I missed one. Okay. Place. Create shape view. Yep, replace. Okay. So I missed one here. I want to just rename them to get them out of the way, basically. I want to make sure that probe shape's not hanging around. Okay, we had an error. Create human probe shape box. Oh, yeah, we might have needed to define this first. That's the thing, is when we were live editing, sometimes we added this earlier, and so it was in the global bindings with the old name, so it kept working even though we were referencing it before it was created, kind of thing. Alright, so we're starting to set that up. We have not used it yet. We probably want... Does body state have a... No, it doesn't have a constructor. So probably up here we want to keep track of the body config. And where we're creating this body state. All good, all good. Okay, here we go. So here is where we want to load our shape, our probe shape. So here we can say probe shape. So, okay, let's look up the body config. Body config, state.bodyconfig. Okay. State model name equals, well, we're going to need to do this. Let's just move this up. ed get component, not component sense. We've got driver, oh, body ID, that's what it'll be. Body ID, shape info.class, which I think we can do. Yes. And so that'll be that. Get shape name ed log info. I just want to see it. Log info model name. I will remove these in a second. Ah, we already see the problem. 1185. It's unhappy. I've done something wrong. Very, very wrong. Get shape name. Get component. Is the wrong thing before? Expecting blank, but found colon? Where'd you find it? Oh, nah. I'm blind. Alright, model name. Okay, cool. And so we can say body type equals, what do I call it? Body type mapping, body type mapping, model name. So body type, boink, swap, human female. All right, cooking with gas. State dot body config equal. I have it right here. Body types. Body type. Doink. Yay. Okay. And we could log body config. And then we can up here add a toString. Now there's a way in Groovy to have it automatically generate a toString method, but I actually don't necessarily want all of the things. Get class, get simple name. Just do this. I just want to know what they are. Doink. To make sure it's mapped correctly. Oh no! No such property, body config. Did I not call it? Body config. 1200. When line numbers are so even, I always get suspicious. Oh. But you know, it's statistically speaking, it's going to happen. There's going to be bugs on even line numbers just as many times as there are on odd numbers. But like, especially in a really big program where you get like a bug on, a syntax error on line 50,000 or whatever. Actually, that would be a ginormous class, but you know what I'm saying. 18,000. Just feels weird. All right, so we've got body config. Now, I should be able to remove this human. I'm going to be gentle and change this to probe shape. Oh, don't like that. Oh no. Oh, for the dog. Right. We haven't created one for the dog yet, so this is actually good. So let me look up any more of these human probe shape. We should not need these anymore. I'm going to leave the initializer in there so that we clear it out. So instead of this, we want to do the same thing. State.bodyconfig.probeshape. Any more? No. Okay, so that's all of them. And we're still going to fail for the doggy because we haven't. We haven't defined him yet. Yeah, for the dog. So now we have to define one for the dog. But now we'll actually get one for the dog. And actually, look, they're both like just staring out at whatever is off in the distance. I guess they can see, but sometimes you just have to sit with your dog and stare off into nothing. Hello, Galactic Taco. How are you on this fine Friday evening? I could go for a galactic taco right now, actually. I don't know what it is, but it sounds delicious. Okay, so we need to make one for the doggy. And then he will have his own little shape. But for the moment, just to prove that it's working, I am going to make a doggo. Dog. dog, and dog probe. Dog probe. But we're going to use the human ones right now. So we should get what we had before. Okay, but now we are in a position to give him his own, or give her her own doggo probe blocks. So we should be able to say create dog probe shape blocks. And what is the probe shape scale? Yeah, so this we need to start factoring out, in fact. So instead of that, I'm going to just pass 1. And we're going to make another one. Create dog probe shape blocks. Ultimately, I may change these to be like loaded from a file instead of manually, poking them all in. Something I can edit in blocked and then load. All right, so we're going to do similar, and what I'll do is the same thing, and then just make sure everything is still working. Oh boy. Yeah, because her butt stuck off the end. She's trying to turn back towards the thing. Here, I will give you a hand, sweetie. No, that's not quite good enough. Oh. Alright, warp you over to here. That's better. Alright. Oh, that's because she's got a giant probe shape. Well, we know it's working. So we must have done something wrong here. Oh, probe shape scale. I see. Probe block should have really been size. 0.5 divided by 1 is 0.5, so that's what it was. It was 0.5. 0.5. Boink. There we go. Now we should be able to move her back over here and she should be happier. Yeah, there we go. I think I want to do this. There we go. Now we can still see them. Okay, so now we can get creative with her blocks. And so I think we have this probe shape height. Since we've made this specific, okay, I'm just going to move these inside then, because now they're very specific to the type of thing. But we pass the scale in. We probably don't need to do that. So we can do this. And this. Alright, let's see what complains about those variables going away. Lots of things. Can I get property probe shape on null object? So go, well, that's because other things failed. Asynchronous environment, you got to find the first error. No such property scale. Oh, of course not. Line 101. Because this should just be scale. As should this. Doink. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh boy. We're caught in a big loop. Oh my goodness. Something went wrong here. Hey, Ron. Oh, game over. Yeah, game over. So scale and wow. What did I do wrong? Okay, I'm gonna have to kill this because there's no way. Oh, that was just getting hits. Ah, that's fine. I don't know why we're getting hits now. Anyway, so technically this was fine. My bad. I thought it was generating a loop with these blocks. Because I don't know what we're getting hits about, but apparently everything was fine. We were just scrolling for no reason. I should probably turn that debugging off. At least this doesn't take long to load, so I don't have to provide too much color commentary. See, I thought it was something like this happening. It's just filling in the world scale or world stuff right now. Alright, so let's create the doggy again. Up here. Doink. And Mythruna girl. Doink. Staring out into space. Center the camera on Mythruna girl. Should I center the camera on the doggo? Okay. Oh, see, something is wrong. Why did doggo in the world? Okay. There we go. I think sometimes, this sphere, this that I place goes inside the block. That flashing is it moving inside and outside, inside, outside, inside, outside. Alright, so we got these guys back. Yeah, this probe offset thing, that's a problem. Well, let's get the shape right first. Now that we can have a doggo specific shape, let's make one. So doggo is going to be longer and shorter, of course. Trying to decide. I think we want to do like 2 blocks. So if I just do this, it's going to like make twice as many blocks. See, like that. But it should have also doubled the block size, I thought, like the number of blocks. Pre-block scale. Oh, no. There was something that would. Probe block scale should have been how many we made. Yeah, so something else is wrong. Like it should have, yeah, see all these are kind of in the same place. This should have been 2 by 2. So that's messed up. I wonder if that was in older code. Must have been. Doesn't really matter because I'm going to be changing the whole shape. Alright, what do we want? We want a long skinny shape with the little side things. How many blocks do we want to make? So let's... This would be easier in an editor, but I wouldn't know what the shape of the dog was, so we'll just do it live. Update here. So 3. Yeah, see right now, if we did something like this, I is less than z, or x, I plus plus, doink, 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 doink. So if we fill it all in with blocks, it's going to drive the physics engine crazy. And this is not right. We just want to set I, J, and K. So we're just going to make everything solid. Yeah, so she's got problems. Okay, so we want to make her shorter for sure. Probe shape height is, let's do 2. Whee! I mean, it's the right idea. So for Mythruna girl, we centered it over her because that just happened to work. But for the dog, we want it to stick down a lot below, so we're going to need to add some kind of offset. But for now, I'm just trying to get the shape right, and then we'll have it move down. She's going to get dizzy. So she's got no ground left. Oh, right, because it's not. All right. Let's temporarily make this 5 a little higher so that that drops down a little bit. Oh no, it's still not detecting it. Why? I'll pause the simulation for a second. Okay, so she should be. She's got ground all around. What's she talking about? Oh, because they're all inside of her, maybe? Zoom simulation. No ground left. But I can see though, she's got ground left right there. Like they're all. Oh, those are the wrong block types. That's why. Okay, anyway. Resume simulation, we're going to make her thinner. So instead of probe block scale times 3, wait. Pause simulation. How wide is she? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, that's kind of what we want. But zoom simulation. We want half of that, in fact. Okay. There she goes. She's a little happier now. Actually, that's not right either. Per block scale times 2 should be 3. Oops. No, that's exactly what I told it to do. I wonder, she needs... I wonder, is she really that narrow? Yeah. So I need to fix this so that it doesn't render spheres for the rectangular shapes, but she might actually be able to fit through a space that size. but I think what I'm going to do is increase the scale just slightly. Let's try this. Yeah. That looks more like her body size. I'll have to sneeze here in a second. Excuse me. What I don't know is why hers is behind her. Especially when the dog walks, it tends to move around this. So there's something in the math that is backwards, I think, probably. Because I feel like her center of gravity... This is where she gets her first contact, right? So this is where her weight is. There's her core, her root. I don't think this is showing me... Yeah, no, see, her center of gravity, according to the physics engine, that's where her center of gravity is. That is something I'm going to have to fix, because these are incorrect, and the physics engine is going to be unhappy with this when we start swimming and falling and things. And flying. But I'm not going to fix that tonight. It has larger, far-reaching repercussions. All right, so why is it back there at her tail? And is it because I've put the dog's center of mass back there? And do I break something by fixing the center of mass? All right. Let's see if the rigger is going to let me do this or is going to be frosty. So let's load up the dog lab. Like, joink. Alright, now there is no recenter over here, unfortunately. Yeah, see, that's what the dog's shape is really like. It's this quad. Oops. Oh boy. Alright. Yeah, it's like Shift A and Shift Q and Shift Z move up and down, and Shift A and Shift D move side to side when, you know, like the actual center. So that's Shift A and Shift D, and so it's a little weird. Little awkward. Okay, so the center of mass is right there. That's where I'd expect it to be. Probably even maybe a little forward. So why is it putting it all back there? Hello, doggy. Hello. Okay, so if I go back over here, is it just going to remember my playground? Yeah, so then we can recenter the camera over her. So her center of mass is correct. It's somewhere in here. And we need to figure out why we're positioning the probe where we're positioning the probe. I mean, what I really want to do is... because I'm also going to need to drop it down. Because, so really I want a taller probe. Because I want this to stick down below the ground as far as hers does. Maybe even farther if we consider that a dog could jump up or down higher than a human would normally do. I don't know. Oh no, the Pepsi's gone. Alright, let's figure out why this is positioned where it is, because then we'll get some insights on some other things. Something sets the probe position. That would be the probe. In here, get the attachment position. So here's a trick now we can use. we can say boolean debug equals state.bodyconfig.name equals dog. If debug print line doggo. So now we can like have like a constant stream of doggo, and now we can print some stuff in here. So we get if debug print line. Actually, for a second, let's set it always to true, because I want to see the difference between the dog and the human. So, and we'll pitch TT. So every frame we should get one then the other, one then the other, one then. Oh no, it didn't like something, and so it's still running the O code. Oh, I forgot to put a plus. Okay, so blah 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 blah. And so one thing that we could do is you can pause the simulation and we'll just get one frame at a time, which is kind of nice. So the dog attachment is not too far off. Two centimeters behind the root of the model. All right, that makes sense, and as much as anything else. Shape to body and body space. Yeah, we just print the same thing again. Okay, let's see. And then we step. Step. Step again. Step. Okay. So for the dog, in body space, we're 40 centimeters high, and we're 29 centimeters back. So that is the deal there. Yeah, 29 centimeters back. That's a lot. Does that account for all of it, though? If we assume that that is the root. No, that can't be the root. So the root is going to be whatever was 0, 0 in Blender, which is probably somewhere around here. We don't get that information on this visualization. Then we set the offset. Let's just keep going. So we'll print line offset position. Oh, I've done a bad thing here. I've hidden a variable. Depending on the configuration of blocks, the cog may move relative to the shape's center, but we like the position. The shape based on its center. The physics engine will query based on its cog. So we need to offset it. Sure. But then let's call it cog offset. So we're not hiding another variable. And with cog offset. All right. Oops. Step, step, step. Okay. Yeah, so we started out. Oh, so this is, yeah. So this is just our offset, which is 0.1. Yeah, 0.1. So that should be ahead of us. We haven't added in the attachment position yet. With attachment body position. And then, yeah, so that's all relative to the body center. What are the next steps in pathfinding after getting these next few mobs working? So essentially the whole parameterization of the pathfinding, this is essentially working, right? There's little glitches, but I mean that's enough to implement it, and then we can iterate in this. So really I'm on the flight path to getting it into the game, which means I need to beat it up and turn it into real classes, which I can iterate on in this particular simulation that we've got, this test environment. Because it's much easier to figure things out like this, like why is this, than having to run Mythruna every time, right? So yeah, it's like basically beating this into real code until it gets to the point where it can be integrated into the game. That's the path I'm on at this point. I've got it functionally working enough to put in the game, I think, with little tweaks here and there, and fixing the bugs as we find them, kind of thing. So that's the next thing. I really, on my non-live stream time, I'm trying to beef up the server so that I can make a real public release where I let anybody in, and that'll attract griefers if it's at all popular. And so once the griefers come in, I have to have some server tools in order to deal with that, and that's what I'm working on. And then in the live stream, we'll work on continuing to do this, and hopefully they both converge to the point where I can have another release in June where we have, mobs that can navigate the environment a little better. I hope that answered your question. Okay, so let's save this and see what's going on, because I've forgotten what I'm doing. All right, step, 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 step. Step, 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 step. Okay, so that's just moving. Okay, so the human female, she ends up with an attachment, yeah, not too far. In fact, partly in front of her. Oh yeah, and the dog ends up with attachment way, way behind. So more than a half a meter behind here. Yeah, so that is way back here. But why though? Alright, I'll tell you what. This is something I'm going to fix on my own time. We already know that the probe shape needs an offset. So we will build that into the body config. Actually, can I build it into the shape? Because I think there's actually an issue. The M-block shapes are made up of parts, and the parts can actually have their own local position. It's like its own little scene graph of shapes, right? But I think the root always has to be at 0, 0, and since we're creating a very flat shape, that limits what we do. So let's add to the body config, we'll add a Vex3D shape offset. So this will just, I mean, I need it anyway because we already know we don't want the dog's shape centered over the dog. We want it to be able lopsided down. So we're going to need one anyway. And so today I'll just use it to work past this particular issue by projecting it forward as well as shifting it down. which means all of our body configs are messed up. Down here, we'll need to comma new vec3d for the dog, for the human. We don't have anything to do. For the dog, let's try to just counteract this minus 0.64. So we'll just call it 0.0 minus, let's see, what height is it? 0.3. Let's make it minus 0.1 and then plus, 0.6, what did I say, 69? 64. We'll just call it 65. Okay, so that should compile okay. Let me go ahead and resume the simulation. All right. And so now we can make sure that the probe can deal with that. So probe vec3d offset is the, let's call this a shape offset. And where we do this, we will pass in the stuff. So then, we're going to need to this dot shape offset equals shape offset. And then when we have a new probe, we want to make sure should I call it shape offset or probe shape offset? Shape offset. Okay, so that should still compile. We're not using it for anything. We're good. Okay. And so then in this reset up here, once we figured out where the cog is, then we're still in body space. I think we can just add it. That did not do what I wanted. Yeah, this is not in the right place. Here. We got to rotate the, so that's so that's to get the attachment in the right place. There we go. Woohoo! Yay. Okay. So that is good. Now we can try to more approximate the shape of the dog. And to do that, we will make the dog longer. And we'll start messing with that. Okay, so dog shape. Hello, doggo. Right now, your probe block scale, let's make you twice as much. Badoink. And then we want to back you up a little bit in the configs. There they are. Let's see, this should move you back. Yeah, ooh, neat. Okie dokie. And why is this still back here, though? Actually want that to project forward. I wonder if I'm going to regret. I'm not going to worry too much about it at the moment. But why are they Z-center? Oh, we don't want Z-center. Z-center, I mean, we do want Z-center, but we just want this to be -1. There we go. Now our up-down probes and so on are set up there. we can otherwise, oops, stop doing this part and just set int I equal, oh, for now anyway. There we go. Starting to be more doggy shaped. Her left-right probes. So we don't want, and yep, and I think we can set this to 1. Okay. Yeah, then we need to let it go back up a little bit. There we go. So we just want it barely glancing the ground. Why do we get contacts over here? Oh no, that's just telling me that I've got ground left and right. I forgot. Those are the indicators. So, I mean, Doggo has his own or her own shape now. It doesn't drop down as far as the player's does. But technically it will work. It's below these, so like when I've done the proper can I jump off of this stuff. Alright, let's see what happens if I try to make her arrive over here. She walks. Okay. Let's move this so we can see what we're doing. What is all this stuff going on here? Hit, 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 hit. Like she's trying to step up. So that's not right either. That could be something I need to fix. But as long as it's functional, I'll be pretty happy with it. So let's put her down here and make sure she can navigate the walkways and things. Recenter camera. And let's turn this off. It's distracting. Alright, let's see if she can step up along things. So let's arrive over here. Not you. Cancel. I'm glad I added a cancel. Arrive over here. Can you walk up the steps? So her center. That's interesting. I wonder if she's got some inverted scaling because her center of mass is moving in a very strange way. Like, it should not be moving down like that. So if we go back over here to the rig, is it still over here? Yeah, she's still over here. Okay, so we've got the center of mass selected. This is why it's so nice to have these both in the same tool. So we got our center of mass. That's what this highlighted. You guys probably can't see that on YouTube, but there's a little red, green, blue line. This is not affected by the line thickness setting, unfortunately. So if I have her walk, yeah, see, that doesn't move at all. Which makes me wonder if this is not an issue of the attachment bone getting screwed up, but the offset being screwed up. I bet that center of mass is rotated weirdly. In the human, I bet it's rotated such that Y is up and Z is forward like it's supposed to be. And I think in her case, it's probably rotated so that X and Y and Z are in different directions. So what do I do about that? That's why, yeah. So let me look back at this because, so what are we doing? Where are we applying the offset? We're applying the offset to the position. We rotate the offset. Calculate body relative offset, including the attachment space. No. No, we absolutely don't want to do that. Right? Because this is the offset that we pass in. I think, like as the model walks forward, we set the, probe offset Z, we set to be the distance. And so if we're rotating that in weird ways, we want this to apply in body space from whatever point. Yeah, that's bogus. So there's part of our problem. So we do want to know where the body position is. We might someday want an offset relative to that in attachment space, but that day is not today. And then depending on the configuration of blocks, the cog may move relative to the shape's center. This is also not something we want to rotate. I think we want to rotate so I think we only want to rotate. No, we're rotating the position before we even add the body, the attachment body position. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so this actually we may need the parts shape, center of gravity. No, this should not be transformed by the attachment either. Again, we may want a transform specific. I think I could just take this out. What's that do for me? Okay, so that is sane again. She's still right. In fact, she's a little forward now. That's actually the same as it was. Okay, this is because we have that weird offset we had to add, which I can fix now. So we can come back here and set this to 0. And it should recenter around her. Ta-da, look at that. All right. Now, when she walks, it should no longer do that weird box moving up and down thing. So let's see, get her back over here. Yeah. So look, she's she's having trouble getting off. There we go. Come on, you can jump down. You can jump up too. Yeah, her little orange box is not high enough. Oops, wrong one. Cancel. Alright, we're getting close. We're getting close. Trust me. Her shape is in such a way. So this is where I do like the over and over iteration thing. And then if we can get the dog done, then maybe we'll mess with the Geffen a little bit. And that might be a good place to stop. But we've already got like, I mean, this is pretty cool. We don't have, oh, because pathfinding's the other thing. I may save that for next week. I don't know if this is interesting to you guys, because I could just start building up some of the background in the coming week, and then next time we could work on adapting this to the pathfinding so that the pathfinding has its own shape and rules per body type as well, which I think is probably worth its own topic. So the issue here is that the box is too low, right? We want this to just skim here because then we want this to be able to get over these short steps. In fact, let's put a human over here. I wish this one went all the way over. Let's create Mythruna girl. Create her over here so we can see. So let's center the camera on Mythruna girl. I really need to sort these by creation time. Okay, yeah, see, she can go all the way up to a full block height, and Doggo cannot. It's like Doggo needs to have this block orange as well. That would solve a lot of problems. And then it needs to be offset higher. So let's fix the Doggo. This is why we have this here. Let's move it up a little bit. Yeah, and I'm probably going to need to adjust it again because this is actually not long enough. In fact, let's go ahead and fix that too while we're here. So let's make it one more high. Probe shape height. Let's just call it 5. This is all kinds of weird. And yeah, so I already set the 2, and so now we can lower it back down a little bit. Probably that even isn't probably not even enough. Oh, technically it's skimming the floor. No, it's not. It needs to be down a little bit more. So minus 0.05. Alright. So that is the way I believe that is supposed to work. We're supposed to get... Now the orange needs to come up too, as does the purple. So these two need to be orange. These two need to be purple. Actually, all of these need to be purple. So the purple just needs to come higher. The blue needs to come higher. Like a lot higher, I think. Yeah, so we'll just hack this in for now. So I'll make the blue come up. Then actually want this to be one, two, crap. 3. Okay, we're starting to get there. Okay. The purple says... Let's make sure Mythruna Girl can still walk up stuff, really. Because I might have broken her as well. No. Let's cancel you. Arrive. Nope, she can still do it. Okay. So warp you back down here. And you're even facing in the right direction. So that orange box needs to kind of skim. So I actually think that's fine. Probably she can go all the way up. All right. So this is much better. I think she should be able to walk up things now and walk down them too. So let's give it a good old college try. Arrive. Can you walk up the step? No, you cannot walk up the step. Why for can you not walk up the step? Oh, she's stuck. Warp up here. Walk over there. Alright. Okay, so now we need to warp you back down here. And then we're going to pause the simulation. We are going to arrive up here. And then we are going to step the simulation. Boink, 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 boink. I think this actually needs to be pink. This one. I think it needs to be pink. Yeah, because the orange are the ones that's conditional. Like, she might want to... So here's what it means, right? Blue means these are the looking for the edges. Am I falling off an edge? Is there ground there? Is it too far for me to fall so I can't drop down? Right? And in fact, in that case, the dog can actually drop down more edges than she can. The orange, let's look at her. I'll tell you so that I can explain. So the orange is in the range of, if I see something here and it's from the side, I probably want to turn away from it. So if like there was a fence here or something, she would rather walk around the fence than try to jump it, unless that's really, like if it's directly in front of her and she needs to get in that direction, she'll hop over it just like she would here. But otherwise, so the orange is kind of conditional. Pink means I can always step up there no matter what direction I'm going. Pink means I can step over it. Orange means if I'm heading directly for it, I can step over it. But if it's hitting me on the sides, then I need to steer away from it because probably that would look better. And so in that case, like she can't step up because she's supposed to work though. I don't know. So let's at least fix that and see if that helps. Oh well, like I think, well, we're already in the middle of a test, so let's just let her see what happens. So yeah, she's supposed to cast down to see that she can step up, and she's not. Oh no, this is just letting her walk forward, and it's probably that her head... yeah. Okay. So the thing is, the probe doesn't tell you can step up. Probe says, I can keep walking in this direction because that's the direction I want to go. So orange is fine in this case because it's the direction we're heading. But we don't actually step up until part of the body hits this. And like she's got a square right here and her head right here, but she won't hit the body until she's well into these red blocks. So these red blocks need to not be red, basically. Yeah. In fact, I think probably this needs to be orange. She's a little bit of weird shape, right? Probably this needs to be orange. This needs to be orange. These probably... Oh, the whole thing needs to be... Oh, no, so she's walking, that's why it's pushed forward. All right, let's resume the simulation. We're going to warp her so she can actually reach the destination. Then we'll warp her back over here. Oops. No, I don't want you over there. I want you right here. Okay, so she's still... because we are going to want to adjust her box a little bit. Because she's already kind of projected forward. I think actually... Yeah, what is the... Yeah, so hers completely contains her torso. So it's all about playing in the system, right? I think all of these need to be... Yeah, everything below... Yeah. Essentially, the dog is not tall enough to ever have a red block. Yeah, but the orange blocks aren't treated correctly at the moment, so I think... I might give her head a red block. So let's turn off one of these. Okay, so her head's not red anymore. She should still be able to step up these once we fix all of these others. And then in here, we'll say if J... Actually, we'll just set them all... No, we have to have some red. Or she'll never turn away from anything. But we've got the one front red. Let's change this to red. And then change all of these to orange. Okay. So now probe-wise, her head will keep her from walking into things. But everything else will only try to probe around glancing blows. And probably from a probe's perspective, we don't need all this back here. But let's see if she'll walk up now. Yep. Whee! She kind of jumped up a little bit. That's the thing, that's the other thing. You asked what's next. What's next is to add the to do proper animation mapping too, because right now we've just kind of hacked it in. So that is actually another topic of one of these, which is to hook these guys up to player control, like if I was an actual player playing this character, and make sure all movement, WASD works well, and then that the animations are correctly adapted to the speed and direction. And because we kind of hacked it in to make them look like they're animating, that's why she looks like she's walking when she's doing this, because we kind of hacked it in. But really that's supposed to be slightly more complicated than it is, because if she was falling through the air, she continues walking because she thinks she's walking forward. She should be able to get back up here now. Yeah, she's going to fall down. There we go. And she's going to hop back up. There we go. Okay, so she can get to all the places that the other one can. But anyway, so the movement synced with animation is another thing we have to work on, because I want to add step up animations. And so then instead of stepping up and doing this weird thing where they just kind of levitate up over the thing, they'll run the step up animation and transition between being down here and being up here. But it's sort of a queued activity sort of thing. It will later also be used for, if an NPC wants to bang a hammer on something, that'll be an activity that they're currently engaged in, and so it will block all the normal pathfinding weird probe stuff, because right now they're in the middle of an activity, and so only their normal physics context will be in play. We just disable the probing for a bit because they're not actually walking anywhere. But so she should be working, and she should also avoid falling off the ledges. So let's see if she can walk over here. Come on. Yes, she should be able to walk over. She's going to try to go down there. Never mind. All right, let's warp you over to here and see if you can go the other way. Okay, so you got to where you're supposed to go. Let's see if you can get over here. Yeah, so she'll walk around the corner. She'll try. Yeah, okay. She can do it. It's not graceful because, yeah, I may need to extend these side probes back so that her center of gravity never falls off the edges. In fact, we can do that real quick. So these are normally things I would have done a loop for, but it's kind of easier to see what's going on. So yeah, now she has 2. We could give her 3. Although it doesn't really matter. Almost. In fact, no. What we want is only those. Because if she gets any contact to the left or the right, then these engage, and she'll think she can walk in that direction. So we want this back here, closer to her center of gravity. All right, let's see what happens if we try to walk over here. So she should go around the thing. She's not quite as graceful as the human one, so there's still some tweaking to do. Because, like, the human will be pretty smart about it. Like, see if we can get her over here. She'll go up the thing. Right, she'll walk around the corner. If I have her arrive, oh, she's going to do the same thing if I do it that way. So let's have her arrive over here. She's usually pretty smart about navigating around the corners. Oops, nope, she fell off the edge. Alright, now she's going to get stuck. Yeah, she can't walk up. So let's warp you up here. There we go. Alright, so let me play one more thing with the dog. We might have time to start on the Gafen for a second, but I want to see if the dog can walk through these low gaps still. So let's make her go over here. Oh god, I gotta fix that. Okay, so she should be able to walk under there, no problem. Yep, no problem. In fact, let's get rid of the probe shapes. There we go. So now she should be able to walk all the way over here. Arrive. Oops. Arrive over here. Okay, you go through the hole. Yep, she goes through the hole. She makes it through that one. Okay. So she could walk through the hole, but for example, if we warp Mythruna girl down to basically the same position and we try to make her arrive over here, she's not going to be able to do it. Right, she's going to... Actually, she's not able to walk through the doorway. Why is that? So that's a problem. I think her probe is a little too high. Warp over here. I want to see something. Arrive back over here. Can you walk through the doorway? Oh, she can walk through the doorway. I don't know why she didn't want to. Maybe she had climbed the wall a little bit because there is that bug. Alright, so... Yeah, I don't think she can arrive up here from here. Yeah. She would have to be warped over to here. Anyway. Alright. Yeah, so there's a weird issue with the detection of the stepping up stuff because they try to climb the walls and that's not right. Alright, so let's make a Gafen and get its config started. Actually, we'll have to get its config started before we make one because let's call it body types put short. We'll call it a short biped. And we'll just copy the dog for the moment. Short biped. So I could change this to quadruped, for example, and we could probably reuse it. Short biped probe. Let's make sure these are all 0 because we don't really know what's going to be up yet. And then I think I don't know what the name of the shape is, so we're going to need it to fail at least once. Let me close these guys for the moment. And the Gafen, create one up here. Boink. Okay, so it should have failed. This one. Here we go. That's what we want. Boink. And that's what we put in here. Alright, so we should get... Let's turn the shapes back on so we see. Alright. Center our camera on the Gafen. So that is clearly not a good model for the Gafen, or the shape for the Gafen. Probably we get closer with the humanoid. So let's say create short biped probe shaped blocks, and we'll copy the human one. Create short biped. Kaboink. It's going to be a big giant badly offset thing. What does your body shape look like? So yeah, actually that's not a bad size. But of course, you know, it's too tall, the offset's wrong, etc., etc. Let's make it shorter. Probe shape height 3. That's cuter, see? And I think with this it's not going to avoid any we need the top one. See, it won't go up then. So it has no turning capability at the moment because the orange blocks aren't really handled correctly. So it will navigate around, but only because of body contacts. The probe won't be doing anything really except for detecting edges. And the Gafen could actually fall any number of edges is not a problem. But let's set the offset up a little bit. So we're a little higher. Yeah, so this is going to be a problem because it needs to be able to drop down lower. If we put this over next to the human, center the camera. Actually, we want to just move everything up a little bit more. So it's actually pretty close to right. So let's move it up another 10 centimeters. No, too much. That looks right. So the Gafen has its own little thing. It should be able to navigate this little thing here. So let's get it to arrive over here. Oh, come on. Yeah. Uh-oh. It fell. It's trying to climb up the wall. It did. Okay. But it's so weird that the human works so much better. Yeah, it can't actually reach the thing because there's not enough give in the arrive behavior. And I don't think cleaning path works. So the Gafen just gets stuck because it can't it can't arrive to the point because it's too high. And I don't know why that happens because it seems like the human version, if we open up her again and get her to arrive over here like that. Oh no, it is the same height. Interesting. Yes, she's able to navigate the corner. So that's something I'll have to investigate. But this is where, you know, again, we get into the details, but the basic gists of it are working. So let's see if we can get the Gafen to arrive back over here. Hop, 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 hop. So it's trying to steer away from the edge. Oh, it steers too soon. I know what it is. It's the so the other thing is the amount of space it like pushes the probe into the front. Like there's no way to like kill the arrive, unfortunately. I can make her jump. Yeah, so I thought maybe I could jump up and hit it. I've just got to make the arrive behavior a little more flexible. And when I reset this, it'll stop it anyway. Let's make the arrive a little... target. Where does it decide that we've reached the target? Distance squared. Okay, so... we set the distance up when we set the arrive behavior. So let's just set it a little bigger. Anyway, it'll reset and then she'll be fine. Okay, what was I saying? Man, I like the Gafen a lot. It's like one of my first characters that I really feel like has a little bit of a personality. The dog does too, but I copied my dog's personality, so that's a little different. Whereas the Gafen was like 100% created out of my brain. Okay, so it tries to... Yeah, so why does it fall down? You know, I think part of the reason is because it extends its probe too far forward. If we watch Fade, or the Mythruna girl, like hers is fine. Or maybe it's not far enough, to be honest. No, yeah, so it's like way outside of its body. I think that she does too. I don't know why. Again, I don't know why. Yeah, so it pushes it way outside the body based on speed. I don't know why. I may have to look at that in more detail. But basically, we've got the probing and stuff based on different character body types. We've got definitely 3 different body types. So I think that's pretty cool. In 2 hours we got that done, so that's not bad. I'm kind of happy. So let's see if they can all walk up the ramp. How's that? Before I sign off here. So let's warp you over here. Oh, wait. Warp over here. Warp over here. Warp over here. Yeah, I didn't implement the rally button yet. That would have been good. Okay, so you... Let's center us over this one. Okay. Alright. So then, Mythruna girl, you arrive up here. You arrive up here. And you arrive up here. Let's see if they can all make it up the hill. Doggy's trying. He's an odd shape. She's an odd shape. So this is why I need like a ramp walking, because like she needs to tip back. But the Gafen made it up. Actually, the Gafen didn't even make it all the way up. Arrive up here. There we go. Alright, so they can basically do the things. Now, their pathfinding, this is what we're going to work on next time, right? Because the pathfinding is not sensible. If we, okay, if we step. Why are you not walking the obvious way? Oh boy. We've got too many things we're trying to visualize. Alright, let's clear the path. Clean the path. So why did the Gafen not take the obvious path? Like if I path to here, that's up there. Of course, it can't actually get up there. Yeah, so that's a problem. Oh no, actually that's the way it works now. I forgot. So like, why is it not? Oh no, now it is. So I must have clicked inside of a block or something. So now the Gafen has a path. It can walk the path. Doop doo doop doo doo. Walk the path. Hop 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 hop. All right. Pretty cool. I think the dog can do it too. Path to here. Step. Why are you... Oh, it's blocked by the Gafen. Ah, that's funny. So let's warp the Gafen out of the way. Move you over here so that the doggo can get where it wants to go. Alright. Now we step. Oh, yeah. So that's a problem. It can't get inside. It's like inside the block. All right. Well, this is a good place to stop as any. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this ride. I think that worked out pretty well today. Go ahead and start the closing stuff. We will. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you have like opinions on what we work on next, leave a comment. I talked about a couple different things. Pathfinding and getting the animations to work right. So that should be so cool and everything. Okay, that music is too loud for me. I'm going to turn that off. All right, so I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a productive week if you're working on anything creative. I hope you have nothing but success and wildly motivational times. And I will see you next week. Thanks for joining.